the revelation of Jesus Christ that was shown to his servant John. What if I told you that at this very moment we are living in the final days of humanity? What would you do if you faced the four horsemen of the apocalypse, heralds of ruin and despair? Could you endure the sight of their black horses galloping over a world in flames? Would you dare to look into the eyes of death itself, with its icy gaze that pierces the soul? Could you bear the agony of the eternal famine that they bring? I challenge you to face the horror that comes with the four horsemen of the end of the world. The first sealed door trembles at the force seeking to break free. With a deafening roar, the seal breaks, and the door swings open. And behold, a white horse, the one who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him. He went out conquering and to conquer. The first sign of the impending devastation is the rider of the white horse. This rider represents the unstoppable force of power and conquest, marking the beginning of the catastrophic events that are about to be unleashed upon the earth. After the breaking of the first seal, the second seal trembles and begins to bleed. Under the pressure, it breaks, and the door swings open. And another horse, fiery red, went out. To him who sat on it was granted the power to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. In the visions of the apocalypse, a rider emerges on a horse the color of burning blood, with a sword that gleams with the light of war. This is the second horseman of the apocalypse, bearer of war and rampant conflict that consumes lands and souls. With his great sword in hand, he unleashes a torrent of bloodshed and destruction upon humanity, as an unstoppable force that knows no bounds. The prophecies speak of his arrival as the prelude to endless war, where brother will rise against brother, and nation against nation. Thus, the book of Revelation warns that in the dark days of the end, this rider on the red horse will bring the clamor of arms and the wailing of the fallen. His presence is a grim reminder of the fragility of peace and the inherent brutality in the human heart when driven by greed and power. After the breaking of the second seal, black smoke begins to rise from the third seal. With an ominous creak, the seal breaks, and the door opens slowly. From within extends an impenetrable darkness, marking a time of hardship and despair for humanity. And I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. Revelation 6 verse 5. Behold the third horseman, bearer of scarcity and famine, who marches upon the earth as a punishment for the greed and injustice of men. A rider emerges on a horse the color of the night, carrying in his hand a pair of scales that weigh the fate of men. Messenger of scarcity and famine, he descends upon a forsaken humanity. With his spear in hand, he measures the scarcity and dearth that spread like a plague over the earth, bringing with them suffering and despair. The prophecies speak of his arrival as the harbinger of times of famine and want, where food will be more precious than gold, and people will cry out for bread that does not come. Finally, the fourth seal begins to lose its pale color of shadows. It trembles under the weight of its imminent destiny. With a thunderous crash, the seal breaks, and the door swings wide open. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. Revelation 6 verse 8. When the fourth seal breaks, a rider emerges on a horse the color of death itself, accompanied by Hades, the Lord of the Dead. This is the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, the personification of death who rides upon the earth, followed by his overseer, the underworld. With his pale and sickly horse, he is relentless in his march. Thus, the book of Revelation warns that in the final days, this rider on the pale horse will walk among the living as the final reaper, harvesting lives as he passes. His presence is a final sentence, a call to account for humanity that has lost its way and fallen into the abyss of depravity. Prepare to face death in its most terrible form as plague and disease devour the bodies and souls of men. Behold the fourth horseman, bearer of disease and death, who comes to claim the souls of the living. As the four horsemen unleash their fury upon the earth, the world plunges into chaos and desolation. Majestic and bustling cities turn into heaps of rubble and ashes, shrouded in the smoke of destruction. Entire towns sink into chaos and fear as people struggle to survive amidst disaster and uncertainty. Fields and forests, once green and full of life, become desolate and dark landscapes where death and despair lurk in every shadow. Panic and anguish grip humanity as people desperately seek refuge and protection against the horrors that ravage the land. Behold the magnitude of the chaos and desolation unleashed by the arrival of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and fear for the fate of humanity in the dark days to come. Amid the darkness that envelopes the world, a ray of hope still shines in the hearts of those who seek salvation. Though chaos and desolation are overwhelming, some find comfort and strength in faith in God. In every corner of the world, people cling to hope, seeking redemption and forgiveness amid the storm that ravages the earth. Because where there is faith, there is hope, where there is love, there is redemption, and where there is God, there is always light in the darkness. After the devastating arrival of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the world plunges into an unprecedented state of chaos and despair. However, what follows these catastrophic events is even more overwhelming and mysterious. What unimaginable horrors lie behind these closed doors? What supernatural forces will be unleashed when the seals are broken? Humanity faces an endless darkness, immersed in the fear of the unknown and the anticipation of the final judgment. What does the future hold for humanity? What fate awaits those who survive the horsemen of the apocalypse? The answers to these questions are hidden behind the sealed doors. The story has not yet come to an end, and the fate of humanity hangs by a thread because the apocalypse has not yet revealed all its secrets. The truth is that although we do not know the day or the hour, we must be prepared, not only spiritually but also in human terms: food, medicine, water, batteries. Around the world, there have been many strange sightings, sounds, and shapes in the sky that many predict as the trumpets of the apocalypse. Many claim that the four angels trapped in the Euphrates River have awakened, and here you have the real sounds captured by the locals. I hope you enjoy it and don't forget to subscribe.